How you doing today, everybody? It's me, Glenn Cotton, Glenn School of Cotton, and today I'm here with Dr. Jones, um, principal, Central High School, and recent award winner for Educator of the Year for Builders Program.
Correct.
Okay, how you doing, Miss Jones?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm all right, all right. Kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Just kind of take us on your road to Central.
All right. I'm a product of the Tuscaloosa City school system. So back then I graduated in '99. So we went to every school. Started
There
out
you
at
go.
Skylar Elementary. Went from there. Went to West Lawn. Went to Eastwood. Went to all the schools. Got to Central. By the time I got to Central High School, that was when my journey here really started. When I walked through the doors as a freshman, I had a 3-week-old baby. So
There you go.
yeah, so I had me a nice little get from there, go to there kind of story. But I played basketball, loved playing ball, played for Coach Highland here,
Okay.
and stayed here all 4 years. Graduated from high school, went to the University of Alabama, got my bachelor's degree from there. Then I went on to get my master's, my EDS, got my doctorate, and then found myself teaching and coaching basketball. Which I went back to my first love.
Okay, I got
Started out at Hale County High School for a couple years, ended up at Bryan High School for about 5 years, and then I've been over here at Central for almost 10 years. So
you. Okay.
it's been an interesting journey to get to being the principal. From a student to the principal, it's like the biggest blessing.
Yeah, because see, that's what I wanted to ask you too. Because you said when you first got here, 3 weeks in, you had a child, and now you're here leading all the kids here.
Right.
Like, how does that feel to you on the daily? Coming, because this is like full circle.
Full circle.
Like, how does that feel for you on the daily, coming walking through those doors, knowing that you was right here for your 11th to 12th grade on this exact,
Right.
on these exact grounds,
Same
and
ground, same ground.
being able to lead these kids now.
So it's like I see myself in them. My brother went here too. He was an athlete. So when I see the guys, I see my brother. When I see the females, see the ladies, I see myself. So it hits differently for me because I walk the same halls that they walk. So it's personal. Every day is personal because I feel like I owe it to the old me. I owe it to the new them to see them go from good to greater. All of them come in with a different story. Well, they got a 16 on the ACT or a 36. It doesn't matter. All of them are on their own journey, so it feels different for me because I get to walk that journey with them, and I've been on that same journey. So I love every child in this school, the ones who come from whatever background. It's just like it's love every day.
Man, I know that has to be a great feeling, to be able to connect with those kids, and especially when you walk the same path that they walk, and give them something to look forward to, seeing that, hey, I went through these same things. Look where I'm at now.
Right.
And be here. There's no excuses anymore. Over time, with the school, as you know, we had to break up
Right.
the schools, which kind of slowed a lot of stuff down when it comes to Tuscaloosa schools. Um, with you being here now, and you said you've been here for 10 years already. Well, been a part of Central for 10 years late. Um, the steps and getting to where we are today with some of the new programs that they have
Right.
for the kids and everything. How was that, and how does it feel to see all this evolve from day one of the split to now?
Right. So when I came in, we were on the school improvement grant because we're on the failing school list. So there was a process we had to go through. We knew what the students were. We looked at the grades. We looked at all those different pieces of it. So it's a step. You knew it wasn't going to change overnight. So you start going in, see what's going on in the classroom, what's going on with the kids. You can't heal what's in the classroom. You can't heal what's going on at home sometimes. So you got to make sure you're addressing the whole child. So it's been a process, and you try to figure out what do we do to make the kids stay motivated. So I come off the heels of many great men that came before me. I'm the first female principal, black female principal here. But I come behind some greats who laid the foundation. Dr. Sutton was here before me. He brought me into it. So I got to glean a lot from him and learn from him. So then once he came and turned over to me, it's like, how do we keep that momentum? But we got to do something different too, because we got to keep that same movement going. So whatever we used to have that we didn't have, we bring it back. Whatever we didn't have, you bring it back. You got to keep the kids motivated, because just going to that classroom every day, that's not enough. Like making the grades sometimes, unfortunately, is not enough. So you got to know your kids. You got to build relationships. You got to know, okay, this is what this one want to do. This may not want to go to college, but they want to work. This one don't want to work, this want to go to the military. This is unsure. So what you do is you lay the plate out in front of them, and you put a whole lot of stuff out there in front of them and say, taste off all of it till you figure out what you like. That way you trying to figure out what your future is going to become and what it's going to be. So I think here what we do is we give them a sample of a little bit of everything, and we make sure we keep them involved, and we celebrate them for the things they do. Because what I found is my kids need motivation and consistency. Those are some things that's missing. So it's like bring some new, bring some innovative, keep them excited. Have a little party in the courtyard, feed them. It's just the little things that make them get excited about school, and that's how you change the culture. When you change the culture, you change the child, then you kind of get into that classroom, and then they motivated. They want to work for you. They want to fight for you. So that's what we're doing now, trying to build that culture where they're excited and they motivated about being here. And then you change what's happening with the numbers. The numbers I'm looking at aren't always the numbers that everybody else is focusing on.
Even with us, I think the kids, they need those options because their attention span a lot of times kind of
Yeah.
short. So when they don't have things to decide from or things that they really love doing, it kind of hard to keep their attention.
Right. They don't know what they want sometimes.
Yeah.
So you got to show them what they want. And I'm coming out of COVID, and kids just being different. They learning different, teachers teaching different. And, you know, we saw a lot of stuff with like mental health. Like the kids are struggling. You imagine being out socializing and next minute snatched away. And then you trying to come back into it. So they had to learn how to school all over again. So we had to really pay attention to those things with them. And, you know, when the school split, you said exactly right. It changed a lot of the dynamics of what we had to offer. I mean, the population changed. You know, the teachers got split and moved to different places. And then it just left Central here trying to figure out where do we go from here. So we had to find a new direction, a new path. So kind of when I came into the leadership, my whole scope was, how do I get the alumni back? How to get that love back, that pride back. And it's not just the old Central. You hear a lot of people saying, you know, the old Central was like this. But, you know, this is the new Central. I said, but we are the Central. That's what matters at the end of the day. We all, our certificates say the same thing. Our diplomas say the same thing. It don't say old Central, new Central. So we had to all get back in line and say, we got to support each other regardless. Like, that's what time it is around here. And it helps, even like with our homecoming. Our kids seeing those people back, they were saying it feel like homecoming. Like, we got these people, they for her, they are for us. So it was cool to see the kids get excited about seeing where they came from.
Yeah, and then, you know, I saw some of the things y'all had going on. I kind of seen some of the stuff that Rachel was posting, even with the balls, and they was all outside cooking up one day and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, they look like they was enjoying school at school in a safe environment. And
Yeah.
everything just went so well. And I think that's one of the things some people are overlooking, like how smooth everything went.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody was just enjoying themselves, and that, like I said, it's a beautiful thing for the school, and it also puts smiles on these kids' faces and motivate them to see people here
Absolutely.
just representing the school and showing love and passion for this school.
Correct.
And you kind of, when you was talking about some of the things you were saying, is, you know, it was steps to everything, you know. And lately I've been sitting around Mario, me and him been talking. And he told me about these things right here.
Right.
And he said after the Bryant game, he said you handed him. He said, man, you know, Dr. Jones walked up to me and said, I got something for you, Mario. And he said when he turned around, you handed him 2 bricks. He said he couldn't do nothing but smile. He said, brick by brick, you know, this is what we're gonna do, step by step, but we're gonna call it brick by brick.
Right.
So, with that being said, tell me a little bit of what brick by brick means to you.
Brick by brick represents a process. And it represents a process that isn't easy and it takes time. On the field, it's play by play, you know, down by down. It's sack by sack, you know, catch by catch. In life, it's choice by choice, decision by decision. Like everything we do as people, as athletes, as principals, as students, it's a process. So when I hear brick by brick, it means it's one step at a time. You make one silent move, you make the next silent move. And it makes sure you building the foundation. You want to build it on sand. You know, you want to build it on sticks. But if you're doing brick by brick, that means you laying something that's going to stay and something that's going to stand. So when I hear him say that, I see brick by brick taking place in the classroom. When I see my football players walk around, they got the chin up. You know, they yes sir, no ma'am, they moving different. You know, they talking different. I already see where he laying bricks and he building things brick by brick. And like I told him when I talked to him, the victory was seeing the kids change. He won the mind. He won the heart. The rest of the body got to follow. So when they were in the classroom, you know, they leading. In the hallways, they leading. They got pride. You know, when I saw them playing that first spring game, and I see them go against Pelham, I see them go against those schools, and they out there fighting. And I see the numbers grow. I'm like, okay, we on to something. We hadn't even got to the first game yet. So when you talk about brick by brick, I'm seeing that foundation being laid. Because you got to build that before you can build up. So you got to build, you got to build a bottom, then you kind of can go up from there, and then you know it's solid.
There you go.
So that's what it represents for me.
Okay. And then all right, and then also it's like we want to kind of bring it to a campaign with this thing. What are we campaigning for when it comes to brick by brick?
So a friend of mine came to me and said, you know, this a whole movement, basically. Like this right here pretty big. Like what this young man is representing, it means something. And I feel like people will get behind it. And it's absolutely, because I got behind it. I mean, it was easy. I knew when I first talked to him, he was solid. So what we want to do is we want to get the people, the fans, the crowd, the students to understand what it really means. To understand what it means for them personally, but what it also means every time those kids bust through that come out of there and they out there on that field and they making those plays and they, you know, I need them to understand what he's trying to lay for the school because, you know, it hits a little different when you a Falcon. You know, I don't scratch the outside. I love them too. But when you done walked it and you bleed that Falcon blood, it's a little bit different. So I want them to get behind him and understand when he says big brick by brick, it's more than just a saying. Like it is a movement. It's some power behind it, and he's walking it like he's talking it.
There you go. And then this the thing too. Like I have met with you before, but we was trying to figure out some stuff for homecoming one year. But just to sit here and listen to you talk and conversate with you, it's like, and knowing the conversations I had with him, it's like y'all got the same mindset. It's like y'all on the same page. So is that a lot? That has a lot to do. Does that have a lot to do with the reason why you chose him to be?
Absolutely.
It is.
You know, when I met him, and I didn't know him a lot before. I heard the name, but the first time I had that conversation with him, I said, he the one. I knew before I went through him, I said, he gonna be hard to beat because he got it. And it's it that you look for. It don't have anything to do with experience. It don't have anything to do with that. It has everything to do with the heart of the man. And when I saw that he was genuine about his love for the West, his love for Central, and it matched my love for it, I knew then we was locked in.
Yeah, that's it.
Like he gets it. The same passion I got for it and seeing the kids. I'm for the underdog. I always been that way. You know what I'm saying? So I saw him lock in the same way. He didn't mind being candid about his experiences and who he was and how it made him the man he is. And I'm the same way. I'm very candid about where I've been. I had a good support system, but how I went from brick by brick to get to how I got to build to where I am. So when we locked in on that, I knew he would be a good man for them. The coach part was gonna come.